The massive alien warship hung above Earth like a dark cloud blocking the sun. Inside the United Nations building, world leaders watched the holographic projection of Commander Vex, leader of the Dominion Empire. His gray skin gleamed under the harsh lights of his command deck. "Humans of Earth," Vex announced, his voice echoing through every speaker on the planet. "Your time of independence has ended. The Dominion Empire claims your world. You have 48 hours to surrender unconditionally. Refuse, and we will demonstrate our power by destroying your largest city." President Johnson stood up from the assembly. "We need time to consider your demands," she said calmly. Vex laughed, a harsh sound like grinding metal. "You think you have a choice? We have conquered 1,000 worlds. Your primitive weapons cannot harm us. Look at what we can do." On the screen, a beam of purple energy shot from their ship toward the moon. A crater the size of Texas appeared instantly where the beam struck. Gasps filled the room. "That was a warning shot at 1% power," Vex continued. "Surrender, or New York disappears in 48 hours. After the transmission ended, the world leaders gathered in emergency session. General Smith spread out reports on the table. "Their shields are impenetrable. Our nuclear weapons, railguns, nothing gets through." "And we surrender," said Prime Minister Brown. "We cannot win." "Wait," interrupted Dr. Chun from the Science Advisory Board. "There might be another way." She pulled up classified files on her tablet. "For the past 50 years, we've been developing something in secret. Project Titan." General Smith frowned. "That's just theoretical technology." "Not anymore," Chun replied. "We completed the first prototype last month. Quantum phase weapons that exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. They should pass right through any shields." President Johnson looked around the room. "How many do we have?" 3 missiles, Chun answered. "But we've been manufacturing more in underground facilities. If we stall for time, we might have 20 within 2 days." "It's not enough to fight their entire fleet," General Smith argued. "No," Johnson agreed. "But it might be enough to send a message." The world leaders voted. The decision was unanimous. Earth would not surrender. Meanwhile, aboard the Dominion flagship, Vex relaxed in his command chair. His lieutenant, Tor, approached with a report. "Commander, the humans are mobilizing their military forces." Vex waved his hand dismissively. "Let them. It will make their defeat more satisfying. These humans are like all the others. They will break. Sir, our scans show unusual energy readings from several locations on Earth. They're primitive nuclear reactors, nothing more," Vex replied. "Prepare the destruction beam for New York. We will teach them fear." Back on Earth, humanity worked with a unity never before seen. Old enemies shared technology. Scientists from every nation collaborated. Factories ran day and night. In hidden bunkers, the quantum missiles took shape. Dr. Chun worked without sleep, checking calculations. The quantum phase technology was humanity's greatest achievement, developed in secret after discovering alien signals decades ago. Earth's leaders knew this day might come. They had prepared, but kept it hidden, letting the galaxy think humans were helpless as the deadline approached. President Johnson made a broadcast to Earth's people. "Citizens of Earth, we face our greatest challenge. An alien force demands our surrender. But humanity does not kneel. We have survived ice ages, plagues, and wars. We have reached the stars. Today, we stand united, not as separate nations, but as one species. Whatever comes, we face it together." In homes around the world, people prepared. Some prayed, some hugged their families, but none panicked. Humanity had faced extinction before. This time, they had a plan. Commander Vex watched Earth's response with amusement. They actually planned to fight. How entertaining. Ready all weapons. When they refuse our demands, we'll destroy 3 cities instead of 1. Let the galaxy know what happens to those who oppose the Dominion. But Vex had made a fatal error. He judged humanity by their visible technology, not by their spirit or their hidden preparations. The 48 hours were almost up, and humanity's answer was ready. The first phase of humanity's response was about to begin. The 48 hours had passed. Commander Vex appeared on every screen across Earth, his expression smug with anticipated victory. Humans, your time is up. What is your answer? President Johnson stood in the United Nations Assembly, her face calm and determined. Behind her stood representatives from every nation on Earth. Commander Vex of the Dominion Empire, Earth has an answer for you. She paused, looking directly at the camera. We choose freedom. We reject your demands. Humanity will never surrender. Vex's expression turned from smugness to rage. Foolish primitives. You have sealed your fate. Target New York. Full power. Wait, Johnson interrupted. Before you fire, you should know something. 50 years ago, we detected your empire's signals. We knew this day might come. We prepared. Vex laughed. Your nuclear weapons are toys to us. Not nuclear weapons, Johnson replied. Something new. Dr. Chun? Dr. Chun stepped forward, holding a remote control. Commander Vex, are you familiar with quantum phase technology? For the first time, uncertainty flickered across Vex's face. That's impossible. Only the ancient ones possessed such knowledge. Humanity learns quickly, Sean said simply. She pressed the button. 3 installations across Earth hidden in mountains, beneath deserts, and under the ocean launched their missiles simultaneously. The weapons didn't fly like normal rockets. They flickered in and out of reality, existing in multiple dimensions at once. On the Dominion ship, alarm screamed. Commander, Tor shouted. Unknown weapons approaching. They're passing through our shields. Impossible. Vex roared. Evasive maneuvers. But the quantum missiles moved through space differently than normal matter. Distance meant nothing to them. They existed at their launch point and their target point simultaneously. The Dominion ship's movements were useless. The first missile struck the ship's power core. Instead of exploding, it phase-shifted the core into another dimension. Suddenly, a third of the massive warship lost all power. Lights died, weapons went offline. The second missile hit the shield generators. The proud, impenetrable barriers that had protected the Dominion through 1,000 conquests flickered and died. The third missile targeted the weapons array. The massive destruction beam that had threatened New York vanished into quantum space, leaving only empty mounting brackets. Vex stared at his dying ship in shock. How? You're primitives. You barely have spaceflight. President Johnson's expression remained steady. You judged us by what you could see. But humanity's greatest strength has always been our ability to adapt, to learn, to overcome. We showed you the weapons we wanted you to see. We hid the ones that mattered. General Smith stepped forward. Commander Vex, your ship is now defenseless. However, humanity offers you a choice. Leave our solar system immediately and never return. Tell your empire the Earth is protected. Or stay and face complete destruction. You think 3 missiles make you powerful? Vex snarled. The Dominion fleet numbers in the thousands. Yes, Johnson agreed. But now we have your technology to study. Your shields are useless against our weapons. And we've been manufacturing more missiles. 20 are ready now. In a month, we'll have hundreds. In a year, thousands. Each one capable of destroying your strongest ships. She leaned forward. But more importantly, we're transmitting this encounter to every inhabited world in the galaxy. They're watching the mighty Dominion flee from the primitive humans. How many conquered worlds will see this and realize you can be beaten? Vex's face contorted with rage and fear. He understood the implications. If Earth's victory became known, rebellions would spark across the Empire. Other species would seek humanity's weapons. The Dominion's reign of terror would end. This isn't over, Vex growled. The Dominion will return with the entire fleet. Maybe, Johnson replied. But by then, we'll be ready. And we won't be alone. How many species will stand with the world that broke the Dominion's power? Tor whispered urgently to Vex. Commander, without shields or weapons, we're vulnerable. Earth's conventional weapons could destroy us now. Vex's hands clenched the command chair. He had two choices: stay and die as an example, or retreat and face the Empire's wrath for his failure. Either way, his fate was sealed. But at least if he fled, he could warn the Empire about humanity's weapons. Helm, he commanded through gritted teeth. Set course for Dominion space. Maximum speed. As the crippled warship limped away from Earth, humanity's message spread across the galaxy at light speed. The impossible had happened. Earth had stood against the Dominion and won. But everyone knew this was just the beginning. Asterisk. 6 months had passed since the Dominion's retreat. Earth had transformed into a fortress world. Orbital defense platforms armed with quantum phase weapons circled the planet. The moon had become a military base, its craters hiding missile silos. Mars hosted humanity's new fleet construction yards in the United Nations War Room. President Johnson studied the galactic intelligence reports. How many responses have we received? Ambassador Roberts, Earth's newly appointed Galactic Relations Officer, pulled up a holographic star map. 17 species have made secret contact. They want our weapons technology. And what do they offer in return? General Smith asked. Information, mostly. The Dominion Empire controls 30% of the galaxy through fear. But their control is slipping. Our victory has sparked 12 rebellions. Dr. Chun entered the room with urgent news. We've detected a massive energy signature approaching from hyperspace. It's the Dominion Fleet 500 ships. The room fell silent. They had known this day would come, but 500 ships were more than expected. How many quantum missiles do we have? Johnson asked. 800, Smith reported, plus the new orbital platforms. But if they come at us all at once? They won't, Chun interrupted, studying her readings. Look at their formation. They're spread out, careful. They're afraid of our weapons. Meanwhile, on the Dominion command ship, Emperor Tsar himself led the fleet. Vex had been executed for his failure, but his warning had been heard. The Emperor wore heavy armor and surrounded himself with the Empire's best scientists. Analysis complete, Your Majesty, his science officer reported. The humans' weapons phase through 7 dimensions. Our new shields can protect against 5. We'll have partial protection. Partial isn't enough, Tsar growled. But we have numbers. Send the first Wave 100 ships. Test their defenses. The first wave of Dominion ships dropped out of hyperspace near Jupiter. Humanity responded immediately. 50 quantum missiles launched from hidden bases throughout the solar system. But the Dominion had learned too. Their ships scattered, making targeting difficult. Their new shields held against some missiles, though others still broke through. 20 Dominion ships fell in the first exchange, but 80 survived and pressed forward. Launch the second wave, Johnson commanded. This time, humanity revealed another surprise. The quantum missiles split mid-flight, each becoming 3 smaller warheads. The Dominion's defensive calculations fell apart. Another 30 ships vanished into quantum space, but the remaining 50 ships reached Earth's orbit and opened fire. Their energy beams struck the orbital platforms. Humanity's shields adapted from captured Dominion technology held, but barely then, Earth revealed its masterstroke. The orbital platforms weren't just defensive. They fired quantum beams, continuous streams of phase-shifted energy that carved through Dominion ships like butter. The first wave retreated with only 12 ships surviving. Emperor Tsar watched the battle from afar, his rage building. They've advanced too quickly. How? His intelligence officer brought forward a report. Your Majesty, we've intercepted communications. The humans aren't working alone anymore. The Kepler Alliance, the free worlds of Centauri, they're sharing technology with Earth. Traitors! Tsar roared. They dare side with these primitives? Your Majesty, his advisor said carefully, perhaps we should reconsider. The cost of this war. Tsar's hand struck like lightning, and the advisor fell dead. There is no retreat. Deploy all ships. Overwhelm them with numbers. But as the Dominion fleet prepared for total assault, something unexpected happened. Hyperspace signatures appeared throughout the solar system, but not Dominion signatures. 50 ships bearing the markings of the Kepler Alliance emerged near Venus. 30 vessels from the free worlds materialized. By Mars, even the mysterious void travelers, who hadn't been seen in centuries, appeared with their shadow ships. Ambassador Robert's voice echoed across Earth's command centers. The galaxy has answered our call. We stand together. The combined fleet still numbered less than 200 ships against the Dominion's 400. But each allied ship had been retrofitted with Earth's quantum technology. Emperor Tsar faced a choice. He could attack and likely win, but at tremendous cost. The galaxy was watching. Win or lose, the Dominion's image of invincibility was shattered. Subject worlds across the Empire would rise up, armed with humanity's weapons. Your Majesty, his tactical officer said quietly, we're receiving a transmission from Earth. President Johnson appeared on screen, but she wasn't alone. Leaders from 20 different species stood with her. Emperor Tsar, she began, this doesn't have to end in bloodshed. The galaxy is changing. The age of empires built on fear is ending. Join us in building something better. Emperor Tsar stared at the allied fleet before him. His massive throne room aboard the flagship fell silent as his officers waited for orders. The humans' offer of peace hung in the air like a challenge. You expect me to surrender? Tsar's voice rumbled through the communication channel. The Dominion Empire has ruled for 3,000 years. We do not bow to insects. President Johnson remained calm. Not surrender. Evolution. The galaxy has changed, Your Majesty. You can change with it or be left behind. Tsar cut the transmission. All ships, attack formation. Burn them all. The space around Earth erupted into chaos. 400 Dominion ships surged forward, their weapons charging. The Allied fleet, though outnumbered, responded with precision. Quantum missiles streaked through space, phasing in and out of reality. Dominion shields, only partially effective, sparked and failed. But the Dominion had numbers. For every ship they lost, they destroyed an allied vessel. The orbital platforms around Earth took heavy fire. One by one, they began to fall. In Earth's command center, General Smith watched the tactical display with growing concern. We're losing platforms 7 through 12. Their concentrated fire is overwhelming our defenses. Launch the reserve missiles, Johnson ordered. All of them. 300 quantum missiles erupted from Earth's surface, but Emperor Tsar had anticipated this. Deploy the scatter field, he commanded. Hundreds of small drones launched from Dominion ships, each emitting a disruption field. The quantum missiles, confused by the interference, missed their targets or detonated early. Only a few dozen found their marks. They're learning too fast, Dr. Chan said, sweat beading on her forehead. A quantum technology advantage won't last much longer. Then humanity played its final card. Deep beneath Earth's oceans, in bunkers that had been built in absolute secrecy, a new weapon system activated. Not missiles, not beams, but something far more ambitious. Activate Project Exodus, Johnson commanded. Across Earth, 12 hidden facilities powered up. Massive quantum field generators, each the size of a city block, began to hum with energy. They weren't weapons in the traditional sense. They were reality manipulators. Space around Earth began to ripple. The quantum field expanded outward like a bubble, and everything it touched began to phase shift. Not into another dimension entirely, but into a state between dimensions. On the Dominion ships, alarm screamed. "Your Majesty!" The science officer shouted. "Something's happening to space itself." The expanding field reached the first Dominion ships. They didn't explode or disappear. They became ghost-like, translucent, unable to interact with normal matter. Their weapons passed harmlessly through the Allied ships. Their shields meant nothing. What sorcery is this? Tsar demanded. Dr. Chun's voice broadcast across all channels. It's not sorcery. It's quantum field manipulation. We're shifting your fleet into a parallel phase state. You'll exist, but you can't touch us. And we can't touch you. A stalemate. Reverse it. Tsar commanded his scientists. We can't, Your Majesty. We don't understand the technology. The field continued expanding, catching more and more Dominion ships. Within minutes, 300 of the 400 vessels were phase shifted, rendered harmless but unharmed. But Emperor Tsar wasn't finished. All unaffected ships, concentrate fire on the source. The remaining 100 Dominion ships targeted Earth directly, aiming for the quantum field generators. If they could destroy them, the field would collapse. The Allied fleet moved to intercept, but they were too few. Energy beams punched through Earth's atmosphere. Cities burned. Millions fled. One generator in Australia exploded, causing the field to fluctuate. We're losing containment. Chun reported. If we lose 3 more generators, the field collapses. President Johnson faced an impossible choice. They could maintain the field and watch Earth burn, or release it and face the full Dominion fleet. Then an unexpected voice crackled over the communications. This is Captain Rex of the phase-shifted Dominion battleship Conqueror. I request permission to speak. Rex appeared on screen, his ship ghostly and translucent behind him. President Johnson, I've served the Empire for 50 years. I've conquered worlds, enslaved species. But I've also seen the fear in my own people's eyes. The Emperor rules through terror, even over us. He paused, looking at something off-screen. My crew has voted. If you can return us to normal space, we'll stand with you against the Emperor. More voices joined in. Other phase-shifted Dominion ships, their crews freed from the Emperor's immediate threat, began to declare their independence. Emperor Tsar's rage was cosmic. Traitors, I'll destroy you all. But his fleet was fracturing. The phase-shifted ships couldn't fight, but their defection was spreading dissent among the remaining vessels. The battlefield had become a 3-way standoff. Earth and its allies held their positions. The phase shifted. Dominion rebels floated helplessly, but defiantly, and Emperor Tsar's remaining loyal ships hesitated, unsure whether to continue the assault. President Johnson made a calculated decision. Dr. Chun, can we selectively release ships from the phase field? Chun's fingers flew across her console. Theoretically, yes. But we'd be taking a massive risk if they betray us. We have to show them trust can exist, Johnson replied. Release Captain Rex's ship. The quantum field shimmered, and the battleship Conqueror solidified back into normal space. Every weapon on Earth and the Allied fleet targeted it. Immediately. Captain Rex's next action would determine the fate of the galaxy. Without hesitation, Rex turned his ship's weapons on the nearest loyal Dominion vessel and fired. The Emperor's ship exploded in a brilliant flash. "The Conqueror stands with Earth," Rex announced across all channels. Who else will choose freedom over fear? The psychological impact was immediate. More phase-shifted ships requested release. Some of Tsar's remaining loyal captains began to question their orders. The Empire, built on absolute authority, was crumbling from within. Emperor Tsar realized his position was untenable. But he had one last weapon, one final act of spite. Deep in his flagship, a doomsday device that had never been used, a quantum bomb capable of destroying Earth's entire solar system. "If I cannot rule," Tsar muttered, "then no one will." But his own crew had heard enough. Commander Krell, Tsar's most trusted officer, stepped forward. "Your Majesty, I cannot allow this. You dare defy me? The Empire is dead, Your Majesty. It died the moment Earth stood against us and survived. We can die with it, or we can live for something new." Tsar reached for the doomsday trigger, but Krell was faster. A single shot echoed through the throne room. Emperor Tsar, ruler of 1,000 worlds, fell dead. Krell opened a channel to all ships. "This is Acting Commander Krell. Emperor Tsar is dead. The war is over. All Dominion ships stand down." The sudden silence in space was deafening. After a moment that felt like eternity, President Johnson spoke. "Commander Krell, Earth accepts your ceasefire. Let's talk about the future." Over the following hours, negotiations began. The phase-shifted ships were released. Former enemies worked together to rescue survivors from destroyed vessels. The Allied fleet stood guard, but didn't fire. 3 days later, in the United Nations building, now expanded to accommodate multiple species, the Treaty of Earth was signed. The Dominion Empire was officially dissolved. Its former territories would become independent or join the new Galactic Alliance, with Earth as a founding member. Captain Rex, now Admiral in the Alliance Fleet, stood beside President Johnson. "You know, when we first arrived, we thought you were primitives. We couldn't have been more wrong." Johnson smiled. "We had advantages you didn't expect. We were underestimated. We had nothing to lose. And most importantly, we had each other." Dr. Chon approached with a report. "The quantum field technology is being shared with all Alliance members. No single power will ever be able to dominate the galaxy again." "What about the weapons?" General Smith asked. "The quantum missiles? They'll be kept as a deterrent," Johnson decided. But our real power wasn't the weapons. It was showing the galaxy that tyranny could be defeated. That courage is contagious. 6 months later, Earth had become the unofficial capital of the free galaxy. Not through conquest, but through inspiration. Species that had been enslaved for millennia sent delegations. Trade routes that had been controlled by the Dominion were open to all. In a quiet moment, President Johnson stood on the observation deck of Earth's new orbital station, looking out at the stars. Ambassador Roberts joined her. "Did you ever think we'd get here?" Roberts asked. "Honestly? When that first ship appeared, I thought we were finished," Johnson admitted. "But humanity has always been at its best when facing the impossible." "What's next?" Johnson pointed to the stars. "The universe is vast. There are other empires out there, other threats, but also other friends we haven't met yet. Humanity's journey has just begun." In the distance, a fleet of ships, human, Kepler, Centauri, and former Dominion, patrolled together. Their hulls bore the same symbol, a blue Earth surrounded by stars. With hands of different species reaching toward each other, the age of empires was over. The age of alliance had begun, and at the center of it all was Earth, the small world that had demanded freedom and changed the galaxy forever. The end, asterisk.